So guys, welcome to another video on the channel. Today we're actually going to be changing out the wind blocker on my 2016 MX5 again, because for you guys who have been watching the channel, I've actually changed my OEM one for this MX5 things version. It's a little bigger than OEM. This is their regular size with MX5 engraving and of course their nice red LED. It looks really fancy, it looks really good, but I came across something that I needed to try it out, and I'm going to tell you why. But first, this is what we're going to be replacing it with. Now, you can't see much, I will show you in detail in a minute, but why am I changing out this wind blocker? Now for one, this MX5 things wind blocker is a really nice one. This is the most popular size that I actually sell on the website. You guys really seem to love this model wind blocker with engraving or without, with or without the LED kit. So long story short, this is a very nice option if you just want to swap out your OEM one for something that's clear, to have a better view out back, or yeah, just want to have something that's illuminated with MX5 or whatever you want on there. So why do I want to change out this MX5 things wind blocker? Now actually, for one, just to try something different, but I was actually thinking of going for maybe a larger model just because of the way the sides are actually kept in place. Now, because this is just like OEM and only clips in at the bottom, and this catches a bit more wind, there is sometimes a slight wiggle in it. Not that that's actually an issue, but I would like something that's more like the RF, where it's actually fixed to the side of the hoops. So the cool thing about the wind blocker that we're going to be replacing my MX5 things one with is that it's actually made by another enthusiast. His name is Paul. He actually has had loads of MX5, different generations and such, and he has created a few accessories along the way once he had every car, and is actually now selling them. So cool thing is that after contacting him, he was willing to send this one to me to test out, and yeah, I would say let's just get started with the install. So let's see first what's actually in the package and how this one will be different from the MX5 things one. So guys, so right here I have laid out the three wind blockers that I have. So for one, we have the OEM one that comes standard on any MX5. Then we have the MX5 things one, which I have been running on my car and I actually really like for a while now. And then this is actually the new design. So as you can see, it's still like fully in the packaging, but this is the new design that I got from Paul, and it comes with all the necessary mounting stuff right here. Now this actually has a bit more permanent of a mounting system, but I'll show you that in a second. The first thing I actually want to do was actually just compare these to the OEM one and the regular size MX5 things one. So actually these three wind blockers, so these two are actually aftermarket replacements that want to be almost the same or a little bit bigger than this OEM one. So if we just put the OEM one on right now, as you can see, we still have a nice cutout to open and close the soft top, but it will be, in my opinion, a little bit bigger, but not by much. So it will actually really keep the form factor of the original wind blocker for itself. Now if we take the MX5 things one, we already know that the MX5 things one has been larger than is larger than OEM, and if we put it over this, we will indeed see that the MX5 things one will be actually a bit more higher up. So if you can see, like, the two legs left and right will actually kick up a bit more, which actually comes in handy if you want to have a bit more blockage of the wind, but it's not a major difference between, I can't imagine that it will be a major difference between this one, the one that we're going to be installing from Paul, and the OEM one. Now the biggest reason people actually want to switch this one out is because it's just a mesh, and it will actually still block a lot of like the view that you have. So a lot of people just want to have a clear wind blocker just because of visibility. Now, the cool thing about these two wind blockers is that they each have something going for them that's unique, in my opinion. Now I have been talking to Paul, but at the moment he only has like two versions. One is clear, so clear acrylic like the MX5 things one, but this one, as you guys can see, it's darker. So this is actually a tinted wind blocker, and as you guys know, I like my rear tint. I got a rear tint of my soft top, and I would really love to have like a little tinted wind blocker, because yeah, it's always cooler when it's black. But then this one, what this has going for it is the different engravings that you can get. Now Paul has been saying to me that he can actually engrave these, so if you would be interested, send me a message and I will look into if you can get an engraved one. So then what other difference do we have between the MX5 Things 1 and this one? That is that this one will be a bit more permanently installed. So as you can see, the MX5 Things 1 uses like the clip-in feet that it's copied from the OEM version, just to make sure actually that it's easy to clip in and out without having to use any kind of tool. But the thing is that here they are friction mounted, which in my opinion is okay, but it's not that, like I said, there is a slight wiggle possible at higher speed. Now the one version from Paul is actually using a different design. This will actually wedge the wind blocker between 2 feet. So if we look on how this is going to be mounted, we get 2 of these little feet. So these will actually clip in at the same places where like these 2 or these 2 went, and then they will actually be mounted like this. So we have an opening here which the wind blocker will slide in between of, and then this little hole with this like bolt. It's nicely finished on the bottom as well with some rubber to not damage the wind blocker, and we will then screw this in tightly, and that will clamp like the bottom of the wind blocker into place. Now most of you will say like, but that's the same kind of mounting as that, and that this will actually be a bit more loose. Now that's actually not true, because you have this, but then it also comes with these side strips. Now I don't know if this is gonna be actually visible, but these are like V strips which will actually also like guide the wind blocker, and these actually are like double-sided taped to your roll hoops. Now it's double-sided tape, it's still not a bolt, so I'm okay with it. Now some people may be a bit more like wary to wanting to stick something on their car, but I think from the pictures I've seen, this looks really clean once installed. So the combination of 2 of these strips on either side will actually keep the wind blocker from wiggling, and then wedging it into place actually makes it look like a really clean install. So to give a quick conclusion on everything that's here, so these 2 wind blockers are replacements for the OEM size one. So this one is a little bit bigger, but it still has the easy click in and click out mounting solution. This one would be a bit more permanent, but from pictures I've seen, looks a lot cleaner, or at least it looks really good in my opinion. So what we're actually going to be doing is we're going to be installing this on my car right now, and hopefully the result will be a bit awesome. So I'm really looking forward to have this. So let's get to installing. First up, we're gonna put in these little feet. So the first thing we need to do is to get the little feet installed. Now for you guys wondering, I'm gonna actually remove the LED strip for now. Maybe I'll put it back later, but so these feet should go into these holes, and it should be, well, that's actually really easy. I thought they would be more stubborn, but it seems like it's pretty malleable, and it's really just a little bit of force and they're in there. Make sure that the bolts go forward, that way everything will be aligned correctly. So then after that, we actually get these strips which are cut at an angle so that you can actually just put them like nice and flat against the roll hoop, and actually the edge, like the edge of this, the inner edge, needs to line up with the inner edge of this. So if you just put it like that, that will be actually pretty much what it looks like. First things first, we get this little alcohol swab so we can clean up the surface a bit. This on both sides. Just get it nicely cleaned. Let it evaporate for a second. So the trick is to just put a little bit, then fold it so that once you put it against, you can just pull it out to stick the rest to it. So if we then put this down into place, it will be something like this. Cool thing is it's 3M tape, so you can, it's only a little bit wrong, you can actually just loosen it up a bit. Alright, so that should be fine. So just keep that aligned. Slowly pull back a bit and stick it on. Go back a bit, stick it on, and just do that until the whole thing is on there. It's actually really nicely like cut out and everything, so I'm really impressed by that. I'll pull out the rest of it. Actually, stick this firmly down, and that's on there. So if you now look here, so you can see this is nicely stick down and nice to the edge of the shiny part. So you need to pick the shiny part because then the adhesive will stick better, but this aligns really nicely and it looks really good as well. So I'm gonna do the other side right now, and then we will start to mount the wind blocker itself. So now that we have the sides installed, I just want to test fit this really quickly. So what we can actually do is just open up this V, slide it down. They're really nice and tight around it actually. Really nicely. And even without the bolts in there, it's really sturdy. So that's actually good. So now we're actually gonna do the fun bit, and we're gonna be removing the protective film from it. So I'm just gonna take it out. As you guys can already see, this one is a lot darker than the other one. So this is actually tinted. It's really good. Now for the second side. Oh, look at that. Oh my god, it's like... Wow. Anybody else see like the bat sign in this? Wow, it looks so... Look at how much like the wall door comes up behind it. Amazing. So let's put it in the car and put the little bolts in. So guys, if we now take a quick look at this, I gotta say, I really like the fit and finish of it all. It looks really nicely refined, like around the little feet and everything. In my opinion, this makes a nicer line around like roll hoops with these rubbers to keep it steady, and then around there, around the feet, it's like more closely finished off, which is actually practically the same as OEM. So as you can see, we have this nice line. This looks really nice, and the tint, guys, the tint is so cool. Like if you look, the tint, like it doesn't really show on camera, let me just maybe, like if you look at this, like you see how much it actually tints out, but actually it's still, in person it's really clear to watch through, but this just looks amazing. So what's the final verdict on this wind blocker? For one, the fit and finish is really nice. I have to say, the feet like work really well. It's nicely cut out around everything, around the hoops and everything. The mounting points are really sturdy. The side mounting here with this stick-on rubber guide is really nice. So you have no movement whatsoever in this rear compartment. Really works really nicely, and in my opinion the tinted finish really works amazing with all the black hoops and the black interior that we have around here. And I would definitely recommend this if you are looking for a regular size or an OEM size wind blocker that is clear to look through, so that you don't have the plastic mesh but just a clear glass or acrylic in this case. And also if you're not somebody who wants to clip in this wind blocker like a lot of times. Like this wind blocker you can remove and it's not really hassle, you just loosen up two Phillips head screws and just slide it out. But it is a bit more work than, let's say, the OEM style or the MX5 thing style, where it just clicks in and out really easily. This also exists for the third generation Miata. So if you own an NC or third generation MX5, don't worry, I got you covered. Paul actually got you covered. And we have these ones in a different design for the NC, also the tinted version and the clear version. So all in all, I totally recommend this. If you are looking for something with engraving, I would still suggest the MX5 things once, but we got both on the website. If you guys are interested and are in the EU and want to buy one of these wind blockers, hop below in the description. I will leave a link to the product pages down there. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this little video. I'm gonna enjoy this new wind blocker, and I will see you all in the next video.